I work as a police and fire dispatcher. This job in itself is incredibly stressful. In 2017, during a chaotic evening with a major accident, I noticed registration information in our computer system. I realized it was the car my mum had just bought for my 17-year-old daughter. But wait, it gets even worse. The accident was so severe that multiple fire engines and rescue units were being dispatched. Then, I noticed traffic units being sent to the scene, something that only happens when there's great bodily harm or death involved. I couldn't leave my post, even though I had confirmed it was my family at the scene. I had to coordinate all the resources to get them help. The responders on the radio were urgently barking orders, and I focused on getting them what they needed. Eventually, I was told I had to respond to the scene myself. My 68-year-old mentally disabled sister was injured and hysterical, and my 17-year-old daughter, also injured, was refusing treatment. She only wanted to wait at the hospital to hear about my mum, who the rescue units had rushed away, fearing her slim chances of survival. My mum sustained horrific injuries. Both legs, both arms, her pelvis, hip and back were broken, along with all the fingers on her right hand. She was placed in a medically induced coma. Miraculously, she survived, but she was bedridden for the rest of her life. She remained lucid, but never walked again. Over the following year, she developed sepsis multiple times and refused hospitalization unless she was unconscious or incoherent. But wait, it gets even worse. In 2016, I noticed a lump in my abdomen. Doctors dismissed it as scar tissue or a cyst, prescribing antibiotics repeatedly. By 2018, the lump had grown to the size of a cantaloupe. It ruptured at work, causing massive bleeding. After surgery, I was left with a gaping wound that became chronically infected. After further testing, I was finally told I had lymphoma. By then, I was at stage 4 with 27 tumors. I started chemotherapy, but life didn't pause. I had to work through the treatments to support my daughter. Despite the pain and sickness, I endured, but the toll was heavy, and I faced workplace complaints over alleged comments I didn't remember making due to chemo brain. And it wasn't over yet. I had to move back in with my mum to combine our resources, but I discovered our house was in foreclosure. While hospitalized, I scrambled to find accessible housing for both of us. My mum's condition worsened, and she was taken to hospice on the same floor as my cancer ward. She died 400 feet from me, but I wasn't allowed to say goodbye due to her MRSA infection and my compromised immune system. But wait, it gets even worse. The first 2 rounds of chemo failed. I had to relocate 500 miles for treatment, living alone in a hotel room. The chemo left me so weak that I crawled to the bathroom and ended up sleeping on the floor. I couldn't hold down my anti-seizure medication, had a seizure, and was found unconscious by hotel staff. I was in a coma for 9 days. When I woke up, I couldn't walk and needed a wheelchair. I developed cytokine release syndrome, leaving me confused and disoriented for weeks. Yet, through it all, I still have hope. I'm now on my 3rd round of chemo and am slowly recovering. My dream is to see my daughter graduate college and thrive as an adult. Despite everything, I believe there's still more to life ahead. There's nowhere to go but forward.